Good morning, specifically good morning to Adam and good morning to Zach, two of the maybe 20 people that watch these videos. And welcome back to Fuck, I Need a Cocktail. On a bit of a hiatus from running away from forest fires. I was living in a tent on the coast for a bit, got a little ill, didn't want to do that. Skipped yesterday because I got a big zit. I get one zit a year, smallest violin. But anyway, just to kind of touch on a few things that we've been missing out on since I've last done this. Some things have gotten worse. North Korea's shot another missile over Hokkaido. Venezuela has deteriorated even worse. Kenya has thrown out their elections. And I wanted to talk about the Catalan vote for independence, but then it didn't happen, so that's a bit of a bummer too. All right, so let's move back to hurricanes. Right now, we have over 3.5 million U.S. citizens without any power or supposedly any time frame to get it back. And if you haven't heard specifically what that means and where those people are, it's because those are 3.5 million U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico. Excuse that whistle, the kettle's on. I'm going to grab that. And I bring them up because so often people say, oh, the storm's bad in the Caribbean, oh, this, that, and the other about that. But if you pay a little more attention, you might notice that Macron, the president of France, has to do stuff with his French islands, and so does, America with our American islands. A couple of those islands are still Dutch, and we need to take care of the other people that are actually citizens that don't necessarily live on the mainland. So, in keeping in mind with this harsh reality of waking back up and getting into these things, and also in the reminder that just because they're in Puerto Rico doesn't mean they're not U.S. citizens, we're going to talk about something else coming from somewhere unexpected, and that's the Irish coffee, which is, of course, American. The Irish coffee that is adding Irish whiskey to coffee, not very interesting, probably started in Ireland, and there's stories about that. The Irish coffee that we're going to make today, and the one that's been so popularized, is a San Francisco drink. And we are going to make it just as complicated as Puerto Rico's relationship with America. So I am not an expert in that, and I won't comment on it, but I highly suggest that you look into it. Instead, I will tell you what I am an expert in, which is making an Irish coffee. I started here with warming up the glass. So the reason that we're going to do that is that this water is immediately 10 degrees cooler than it was before. The next thing we're going to do, sorry, gotta get that coffee ready. The next thing we're going to do is add a teaspoon of brown sugar. Now, brown sugar is a bit of an odd thing to use in general in the bar. Dissolves okay, but all it is white sugar that has molasses added back to it. Now, this is where things are going to change up immediately, and the next thing we're going to do is add whiskey. Most people wouldn't do this, but the reason that I add the whiskey next is just to make sure you have room for the rest of the ingredients. So that's 1.5 ounces of whiskey. That's a very strong Irish coffee. Irish coffees you're going to want to have on the small side like this. So I just topped off the coffee to make sure that was nice and warm. Specifically, it's going to be 4 ounces of coffee that's pre-measured. And we're going to give that a little stir to make sure that we have dissolved that sugar. The very hot water is going to dissolve that sugar. I can't even pull any out now at all. So this is a lightly sweetened black cup of coffee with booze in it, which is great for some folks, but we're going to add the cream. Now this is how I would do this behind the bar when people would ask for it fresh. I would just add a little heavy cream. Don't really have that fresh cream like people often want. Take my Hawthorne strainer and pop the spring right off of it and throw that in there. And I'm going to put in 1 ice cube and just a tiny, tiny amount of caster sugar for texture. Oop, plenty. Don't really want it to be sweet. Just want it to have a little more flavor than just the fat. Now, the ice cube that we threw in there, we threw in just because while we're doing this light whip on this cream, not whipped cream, but light whip, I'll be raising the temperature of this shaker. And if you don't put that ice cube in there, you'll find that the shaker will pop. And you will have cream all over your face. And people make terrible jokes about you. It's really hard to get past that. So just one ice cube is going to cause much solution, but heavy cream, that's not really going to be an issue right away. Don't know if you guys can hear this at all, but this is the best way to make cream on the fly anyway. That's going to be about all we're going to do for that. Oh, lovely. We're going to pop this spring out. Then, just to make sure we don't drop that ice cube in our nice pre-warmed drink, we're going to use this strainer and this spoon. We're actually going to flip it over. The spoon's a little big, to float the cream on top. And we're blending a little bit. It's been too long since I've done this. Now, the idea behind the Irish coffee is that you drink that cream first each time. So I know it's very, very simple cocktail, but you make it in this very specific way so you can enjoy the flavor from the cream down. You heat the glass first so that it will become hot the entire time. And an Irish coffee ideally is going to be not too sweet, and it's going to be small enough that you will get through it while it's still warm and you will be immediately ready to have another one. Overly complicated in the process, just like so many political things that we get involved with. So, it takes the edge off of waking up in the morning. So I'd like to just say again, good luck to our fellow U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico. I hope that the American government helps you out as fast and as promptly and as well as we possibly can. And I'll see you later for more political injustice, because fuck, I need a cocktail. Bye.